Podcast Network Asia. FirstMetroSec is providing this podcast as a general market commentary. Reference to any specific security, product, or entity do not constitute as an offer or a solicitation of an offer to buy or sell any financial instruments or to participate in any particular trading strategy. The statements, comments, views, or opinions expressed by the hosts are subject to change without notice, and FirstMetroSec is under no obligation to update, amend, change, or correct any of the statements, comments, views, or opinions expressed. The statements, comments, views, and opinions expressed by the guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the view of FirstMetroSec. FirstMetroSec disclaims any liability arising from reliance on or reference to any information obtained in this podcast.
You are listening to First Metro Securities Philippine Stock Market Weekly podcast, where we feature timely and relevant discussions on the Philippine stock market and the economy in the hope of providing you investing and trading guidance. Here's your host.
If you are to choose, will you prefer consumable presents or gifts that can grow? Today, we are diving into a topic that might just transform how you think about gift giving, especially during holidays, birthdays, or kahit anong special occasions. We are talking about shifting from consumable presents to financial seeds. Welcome to the Philippine Stock Market Weekly podcast. I am Monneth Pangatungan, Market Educator and Business Development Officer for Visayas at First Metro Securities. Our mission is to equip clients and the public with essential investment knowledge, empowering you to make informed financial decisions. For many of us, gift giving often means toys that break, clothes that are outgrown, or gadgets that are soon forgotten. But what if we could give gifts that grow in value and teach invaluable lessons? We have a fantastic guest to help us explore just that. Please welcome Mr. Noel Tordesillas, Senior Vice President of ATR FAMI. Hi, Mr. Noel. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Monneth. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here to discuss such an important shift in mindset.
Mr. Noel, the concept of financial seeds as alternative to consumable presents is so intriguing. Pwede niyo po bang ma-explain what exactly you mean by that?
Sure, Monneth. Financial seeds as an alternative to consumable presents basically means giving your child something that doesn't just provide short-term joy, but something that grows and blossoms into something much more desirable result over time. So instead of toys or tangible gifts, financial seeds like savings accounts or investment funds are gifts that can appreciate in value. It's like planting a tree that can blossom and bear fruit for years to come.
I love that analogy, planting something that can blossom. It really changes the perspective. So let us get into our first discussion point. It is about understanding the fundamental difference between the stuff we typically give and the enduring power of investments. Mr. Noel, why do you think we are so drawn to giving physical consumable gifts?
Well, physical gifts satisfy our senses. We want to feel good with what we see, hear, smell, taste, touch, or experience. When we look forward to what we will receive, we visualize how this will make us feel. And regardless of how much the toy costs, whether expensive or not, usually the value diminishes once the child opens it. At first, the child probably won't be able to stop playing with it, but over time, eventually the child will get bored and may move on to new toys. And that toy becomes old and unused. And have you ever tried selling any of your child's old toys? Their monetary value is almost zero. But on the other hand, when you give financial seeds or investments, no matter how big or small, the value of money actually grows the longer that you keep it.
Grabe, that is such a powerful distinction. Hindi siya about the monetary value, but the time value of money. That amount given early is far more impactful than amount given later.
Precisely, Monneth. The value of money today is greater than its value tomorrow. And in line with that, the earlier that you plant that seed, the deeper its roots can go, and the more that you continue to water the plant, the stronger its growth will be due to the compounding interest.
Fascinating insights, Mr. Noel. Let us move on to our second discussion point, which is practical. So for our listeners who are thinking, okay, I'm convinced, but how do I actually do this without seeming like I'm giving a boring gift? Ano ba ang mga practical ways that families can start giving financial seeds?
Well, there are many ways you can package the experience in a way that sparks the child's curiosity. You can explain to them that the idea of planting seeds and money trees. Kids understand metaphors, and this connects the idea of saving and investing to something they already know, something physical like the seeds or the trees. You could also create a mini booklet that explains what the gift can become in the future and how 1,000 pesos today can turn into 10,000 pesos when they're older. Suddenly, it's not a boring gift, but it has a superpower. Also, you can make it interactive. If the child is older, you could already let them choose the next fund or stock to invest in from a short curated list that you give them. This makes them more invested and interested because they made the choice themselves, and children generally like to be given the freedom of choice.
I love the idea of gifting money trees and explain sa mga bata how this grow over time. And this actually empower them.
Absolutely.
Okay, next question. Why is consistency in planting seeds more important than the size of the seed?
Well, just like nurturing a plant to become a tree, you need to regularly invest to grow the value of money over the years. You can't expect a tree when you just planted it yesterday. When we think big about the gift our kids will appreciate in the future, we realize that it's impossible to do a lump sum investment. We can invest small, yet consistently. Here's an example. Say every year you buy Christmas gifts and birthday gifts worth 25,000 pesos, and you keep doing that for the next 18 years. Before you know it, you've just spent 450,000 pesos on gifts that were mostly consumed and eventually disposed of. It might even be more than that if you used your credit card and incurred debt. But had you invested all of that, assuming a conservative interest rate, your kid would graduate grade 12 and you could have given your child a college fund or even a part ownership in a company worth 1 million pesos.
Ang gandang ideas. Now, for our final and most crucial point, which is beyond the actual financial gift. Mr. Noel, how does this shift help cultivate financial literacy and long-term vision in children and young adults?
Well, when we give financial seeds, we're not just giving money. It's about the knowledge, the responsibility, and the hope. It's important to explain and teach our kids that wealth isn't also about instant gratification. It's about patience, planning, and growth. And it also shouldn't just be a one-time thing that they do, but something consistently repeated so that it becomes part of their values or habits. And I'm not saying that we should never gift our kids toys or games, but first and foremost, the most important thing is to provide them with financial security and financial education so that they're set up for their lives in the future.
So, hindi siya about sa pera, but the education that comes with it. So, it's a multifaceted gift.
Exactly. So you're giving them financial literacy, a long-term perspective, and the tools to build their own future. That's far more valuable than any toy.
Mr. Noel, this has been incredibly insightful. And your advice on shifting from consumable presents to financial seeds offers such a powerful way to rethink gift giving and empower the next generation. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure, Monneth. Thanks for having me.
Before we officially end, may I request any parting words for the listeners?
Sure. During the holidays, let's give joy through the gifts that appeal to our senses, our experiences, and those that appeal to our family's bigger dreams. Consumables get used, toys get lost. But a small investment today can become a kid's first tuition fund or business capital tomorrow.
Thank you for sharing that insight, Mr. Noel. For our listeners interested in implementing your investing tips for the season, shifting from consumable presents to financial seeds with ATR FAMI, you may check your FirstMetroSec account via website and click Funds. Look FAMI under the Fund Smart. So that's it for today's episode. We are glad you could join us and we hope you picked up valuable ideas for your investing journey. Do not forget to tune in again for more market updates and learning sessions. This has been the Philippine Stock Market Weekly podcast. Brought to you by First Metro Securities, where we put your future first.
Thanks for listening to First Metro Securities Philippine Stock Market Weekly podcast. Don't forget to follow us to get first dibs on our new episodes. For more up-to-date market news and info, exclusive content, and the opportunity to connect with your fellow Filipino investors and traders, join facebook.com/groups/FirstMetroSec and be part of the First MetroSec family.
The views and opinions expressed by the podcast creators, hosts, and guests do not necessarily reflect the official policy and position of Podcast Network Asia, the hosts of the program, or other programs of the network. Any content provided by the people on the podcast are of their own opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything.